Hi Cancer, welcome to your mid-August 2019 General Tarot update. It's Raina here, and so I'm just shuffling the cards. And you know, that's right, I did promise myself I was going to talk about the full moon that is coming up actually mid-month on the 15th. And this is going to be for you in your 8th house in Aquarius. So this can be like some kind of a matter of somebody's death that you're dealing with, especially like money, inheritance issues. If you've been dealing with them, maybe they come to some sort of head. So if people are, you know, having conflict over them, or if there's just a legal decision, maybe it's rendered then. And this can be really good for your own shadow work, if you will. I don't even really like to use that term because the term work implies that you're just, you know, always, you know, dealing with your own issues. And I think that can make people neurotic, actually. I'm talking about awareness of how you kind of reject certain parts of yourself instead of accepting them and integrating them and making it healthy, you know. So we would say on the more simplistic level, talking about, you know, the things that, whether it's things in your past that you're ashamed about or actual tendencies that you have in general that you don't like to admit that you have, whether it's jealousy or other forms of, you know, negative behavior that you want, or an addiction, for instance, and you kind of like are in denial over it, but just kind of admitting it. And in that admittance, you're able to dissolve that shame because you're accepting that this is a part of who you are and you're still lovable, even with those parts of yourself. And you don't try to pretend that you don't have any of these things that you're dealing with. And it's like you make them, you know, things that you're doing that are actually, that you're trying to be happy in whatever it is that you're doing, even things that may be more destructive than constructive. This is also just a great detox time from breaking bad habits. Actually, really good time for that because of Aquarius. You know, it can be like a very, very like permanent break from something. So that's good. And so, and you've had the eclipses last month, so you've been very affected by change, or maybe you even see it in August if you didn't see it during the actual month of the eclipses in July. The heart of the matter is the King of Pentacles. This is a card that is connected to earth energy, especially of a male type and somebody who is chronologically older than you or wise beyond their years. Typically, this person is going to have a very money-savvy type of mentality, so they may gravitate towards businesses that are centered with money. You know, the big one is a bank, but they're not going to be a teller. They're going to be the bank manager. They're always seeking that position of ultimate authority. But a big one could be a business owner. Now, if I had drawn the King of Wands, the difference between the two would be that the King of Wands would be more of an entrepreneur who has a lot of creative ideas, new things that they're launching. The King of Pentacles may have, maybe selling things that other people make that are established, and they're selling it. So working, you know, so owning a store and then selling merchandise that they get from others, whereas the King of Wands may be creating the merchandise and selling it. But there's a very good money vibe from this person. And whether this is you, that you are exhibiting these traits, or if this is somebody that you are interested in, there's also the possibility that this is talking about your father. And because kings can be fathers. In the past position, kings can also be bosses too, because we do have here in the past position the Eight of Pentacles. And this is a card of an apprenticeship, of you know, and possibly you were working towards a certain position, maybe to have the some kind of like credentials so that you could be in a position of authority. You know, like another thing it could be is like somebody who is like an accountant or something like that. But because, and you're like in school for that, but because this is connected to, the king would tend to have employees rather than just work for themselves, I would think. But who knows? Maybe not. Maybe it's like being the king of your castle, where you can, you know, determine when you work. You're not like bound by somebody else's timelines. Who knows? But there's, you know, the Eight of Pentacles is a good money card, because the number 8 is a number of power. So it's like financial mojo. And, you know, so the first 2 cards I picked were money cards, and that's pretty good. But of course, earth energy. The higher message is the Ace of Cups. And this is a card of the beginning stages of a love, falling in love with somebody. Are you falling in love with your boss? You trained under them, or somebody who is your superior? Did you train under them and now you're kind of like sweet on them, as they say, Cancer? And yeah, this is some kind of maybe feelings you're developing for somebody. In the spiritual position, it might be that you thought that you like them for, maybe they're like a mentor to you or something like that, and then you realized that you actually have romantic feelings for them, that it's not just about their wisdom on the job. What crosses you is the Page of Swords. This can be like an paranoid attitude. I would say even like if this was like an office romance, this could be a coworker who's kind of like, what's that word, nosy, who's always in everybody else's business and notices that you're talking to the boss. And in those particular types of scenarios, it could be that the person is thinking, oh, I get it. So this person is going to like brown nose the boss and get ahead, and thinks that they're going to get an advantage over me because they're having a relationship with the boss. And when I say boss, I just mean somebody who is higher up than you. It doesn't have to be your immediate supervisor. It could be somebody else. And the point being that you may get exposed if this is in the workplace. The other thing too is there could be, if this is just in your private life, it could be that some, you know, like if you have, if the King of Pentacles is you and you have really worked hard to get to this position, somebody may be, you know, feeling like they should have gotten the position. It's not, the Page of Swords, even the reverse position, is not necessarily jealousy or envy. It can be paranoia. Maybe they think it's going to mean that they're going to lose their job for some reason. And that's what I meant to say if you are involved with somebody who is your superior, that another worker who actually may feel insecure about their own performance and is projecting these particular feelings onto you is causing problems. The problems that this person can cause, because they're immature, their communication skills are lacking, and they can hurl insults and maybe even like lie, smear you behind your back to try to get people against you. And if you recognize this type of individual that you are dealing with, you have the right to tell other people if they, I don't know, like falsely accuse you of something that is false. But you don't. But one thing is not to get too caught up in the drama, because then that's part of what they want. Actually, they want to drag you down into the mud, even if they know that eventually you're going to deny the smear. They don't really care because the damage has been done. So it helps to be somebody who is kind of staying above the fray in a lot of cases. It doesn't, but I honestly believe that if somebody is, starting a smear campaign, that it's very important that we nip it in the bud and that we tell others under no circumstances is any of this true. And if that means that it's going to make the other person seem like a liar, so be it. They are a liar. But you don't have to say, oh, that person's a pathological liar. Just keep it, factual. The other thing, too, is if this is an affair with your boss, the Page of Swords can be that you're not really seeing the signs that this person may be married, and you're kind of throwing caution to the wind. And the Page of Swords in the upright position is very vigilant and is kind of an investigative reporter, but it's like you're turning a blind eye, perhaps. And it could be that it started as you wanting to get ahead professionally, and then it ended, or make more money, and then it ended up that you wanted to, maybe you have fallen in love with this person, but have they fallen in love with you is a real question, because people, if this is a person in a position of authority, they may know good and well that their underlings are trying to climb that corporate ladder, and they are going to be more willing to do whatever it takes. And so that's what abuse of power is, knowing that you've arrived at a certain position and knowing that other people would give anything to be there. And you're like, okay, well, you really mean it? Okay. And then exploiting that. But see, it still is your responsibility what you choose to do. Advice, the Hermit card. Go within. See the Hermit, he's looking at his inner light. Sometimes this can mean not isolating yourself. That sounds really, no, but I mean, keeping one's own counsel, going into hermit mode, monk mode, where you are contemplating the situation at hand. And so the situation at hand basically is that you may be, this Page of Swords might even be somebody that now is your employee. And perhaps they're not performing, and that's one of your first tasks, is that they're asking you to fire this person. And, so there could be, multiple scenarios. I've already laid out several that are going on, but there might be a dilemma involved. And so even if the King of Pentacles is pointing to good things, as in life, there are, it's a mixed bag, and there may be something good that comes about because of your good fortune, but then you have to face a challenge or a test of some sort in order to really advance. And so that might be something that you have to really kind of have a heart-to-heart with yourself. And also with the Hermit, I always think of like that you're not calling other people and just kind of, you know, telling everybody about your problems necessarily in this scenario, that you're willing to listen to your own heart, because nobody can really ultimately give you advice. They don't have all the details about your particular experience in life. This is something that I think is hard for people to fully appreciate sometimes. And the outcome is the Seven of Wands. This to me is, in this particular reading, can be a very powerful kind of a stance where you are, if that Page of Swords individual is spreading lies about you, you're going to stand your ground, and you're going to, you know, let people know that you're not a pushover. That doesn't have anything to do with being a jerk. It just means standing in your truth. And, you know, the other thing too is there may be accusations against you if you're involved with an earth sign individual, that there may be somebody that doesn't like that. And this could be an ex of yours who finds out about it and who's very immature and who can't accept that it's over between you and them. And, you know, isn't it funny that the Page of Swords I drew as the challenge, and the King of Pentacles I drew as the heart of the matter, which is more of what is your reality right now. So with the Page of Swords, this could be for you a Libra. That's the first one that came into my mind. Or Gemini or Aquarius. But they may be quite immature about the fact that you have moved on. And it's possible even, it's even possible that this person took you for granted during the relationship, and that's one of the reasons why you moved on. And then all of a sudden, when you had found somebody else, that's when they decide to, you know, rear their immature head. And the King of Pentacles can be an earth sign, and this person is established. And that's why I said usually somebody older than you. But, you know, it can just be somebody who's more mature and stable. Okay, Cancer, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, most of my readings are astrology based. Please check me out at rainandmoonastrology.com. The link to my online store is below. And have a great rest of August. Bye.